Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be all about how to buy pre-loved bags. So I came up with this video because, as some of you may know, my mom just recently got scammed into buying a fake Chanel bag. So if you haven't seen the story time video of my mom buying a fake Chanel bag yet, then I'm gonna link it down below and you can click onto that before you watch this video. So towards the end of this video, I'm going to be giving you an update of what happened to my mom and the seller who sold her the fake Chanel bag. But for now, I want to focus on this topic, which is how to buy pre-loved bags. So I thought of doing this topic because of my mom's incident, how she was scammed into buying a fake Chanel bag. And it dawned upon me that had she known these tips on how to buy pre-loved, I feel like she wouldn't have gotten into that situation. So I wanted to share to everyone my knowledge on how to buy pre-loved in order for those who are interested in buying pre-loved bags to take precaution on their purchases. So I'm just gonna get straight into the topic. Pre-loved bags are a great option for people who don't exactly want to spend so much in luxury things. Other reasons why some people buy pre-loved bags are if they want to test out a bag and they're not sure if they want to spend that much on a brand new one yet. They can try out a pre-loved bag for a cheaper price and see if they like it, and if they do, they can eventually end up buying a brand new one, or if they don't, then they can just resell their pre-loved bag. That way they don't really spend that much on a certain item that they don't really end up loving at the end. Finally, going the pre-loved route is perfect for people who are looking for certain things that are already phased out at the market. So some items go by really quick, especially if they're seasonal piece, and if they're a really hot item, it's almost impossible to get them in store. So the pre-loved market is a great way to get certain items that you've already missed out on from a certain season. So I have 9 tips prepared for you guys, but honestly all of these tips can just be summarized into one thing, and that one thing is to do your research. My tip number 1 for buying pre-loved bags is to Google the standard prices of the bag that you want online. So you want to know more or less the range of how much the bag that you're looking for is going for at the pre-loved market. So of course you have to do your research on the standard price, because if not, you're going to end up either buying the pre-loved bag at a really high price, which is close to retail, or you may end up buying it really cheap and ending up getting a fake one. So you have to know more or less what the range should be, because if it's too expensive, then you won't really be getting a bargain from that. And if it's too cheap, you might want to question if the item that you're getting is authentic. If you get this part right, then you're most probably going to be able to get a really good item, because you'd easily be able to eliminate your choices. So obviously, once you know the range price of the bag at the pre-loved market, then you're most likely going to be able to tell which are the fake ones just by looking at the price alone. Because obviously, if the bag is going for like $1,000 to $2,000 US, then if the seller is selling it for like $50, then you should already be questioning if the bag is real or not. So from that one tip alone, you're already going to be able to eliminate a lot of the items available in the market. Because always remember, if the price is too good to be true, then it probably is. Which is why it really helps that you know the standard pre-loved range of the bag that you are looking for. Pre-loved websites, which help me personally on how to search for the standard prices of pre-loved bags, would be Fashionphile and Yugi's Closet. There are also other websites like Vestiaire Collective and The Real Real, which I know also sell pre-loved, but the top 2 websites that I visit to know how much the standard prices are Fashionphile and Yugi's Closet. My tip number 2 is to search for the exact specifications of the bag that you want. Luxury bags come in many different sizes and many different types of leather. Like a Chanel Classic flap, for example, they have it in lambskin, and in caviar leather, and in calfskin, and in different hardwares, different sizes. So just for that one kind of bag alone, just for the classic flap, there's so many variations. So if you're planning to buy a pre-loved bag, you should know within yourself what kind of bag it is that you really want. Because if not, if you're unsure of what the exact bag is, when you end up going online and you don't have an idea of what you want, then you could end up ordering something pre-loved, which when delivered doesn't come as what you expected. One of the latest examples would be the Gucci Marmot, because the Gucci Marmot bag, although it's one style, it comes in 4 different sizes. So there's the extra mini, there's the mini, there's the small, and there's the medium. So if you don't know the difference between these 4, like for example, the mini and the small are very much alike. If you really want the small size but you didn't do your research, you might end up ordering a mini and you expect a small to arrive, but when it comes, it's much smaller than expected because apparently it's not the actual bag that you ordered. So it's very helpful to know what you really want, especially the measurements. You may want to go on their actual websites and check for the measurements and confirm this with the seller of the item so you know that the item that you're ordering pre-loved is the actual item that's going to come to you. Next, now that you know the standard price range and the exact specifications of the item that you want, you're gonna want to do your research on how to authenticate your item. This is best especially for vintage pieces because vintage pieces were manufactured differently from how they are manufactured now. So it's good that you know how to authenticate even older bags. There are many modes on how to authenticate your items online. There's Google, there's YouTube, there's Purse Forum, there's the blogs. There's actually a lot of references on the internet to help you identify and authenticate your items. All you really have to do is to do your homework. You're spending a huge amount of money, so might as well do your research to make sure that what you're buying is authentic. To me, this is the best way to avoid getting scammed into buying fakes. Because if you know what you want, then people can't fool you into thinking otherwise. Also, when doing your research on how to authenticate, be very diligent because nowadays there are lots of super fakes out there. So you're gonna wanna inspect every nook and cranny of the item that you're planning to buy. If you're too lazy to do your research or you're not really very techy into looking for ways on how to authenticate your item, then I can share with you some websites to help with authentication. And those third-party authenticators are Seller, Authenticate For You, and Sabina Lin on Instagram. So these are third-party authenticators and they're very well-known authenticators who have mastered their craft. So if you don't trust yourself into authenticating from doing your own research, then these are 3 third-party authenticators who can help authenticate for you. Authenticating your item is very important because it would give you the peace of mind, especially since you are buying pre-loved. However, as much as I recommend these third-party authenticators, I still don't suggest skipping number 3, which is authenticating by yourself and researching by yourself, because it's really different when you yourself can tell firsthand whether an item is fake or not. Okay, then tip number 5 is to research the seller. No matter where this may it be an Instagram online seller, an Instagram personal shopper, may this be on eBay, or may this be on other third-party sellers such as Fashion File and Yugi's Closet, it's important that you research the seller. For well-known sellers such as Fashion File and Yugi's Closet, you don't really need to authenticate much anymore because they're already an established company, and I do believe that they do have their own in-house authenticators. But for those who are buying on Instagram or the marketplace at Facebook, then it's very important that you research who is selling these items. You're not going to want to give your money to a random Instagram account, right? So you really have to do your research. So if this, for example, on Facebook Marketplace, then you're going to want to check the profile of the person. If the person who posted this item just made his or her account like a few days ago, then you should probably start questioning how reliable they are. If this is a seller on eBay, you're going to want to check the ratings, if they have good ratings. And if they're a seller on Instagram, you're going to want to check if they've already had previous customers or other customers that can vouch for them, like celebrities or what have you. Or if they get tagged in posts, or you just really know that people have already bought from them. So if you're able to find out that this seller is reliable and trusted by many, then you would have more peace of mind into buying from this seller. My tip number 6 is to use safe modes of payment when doing transactions, such as PayPal. So with PayPal, you can actually get your money back or make a claim if the item that arrives to you isn't what's stated on their ad. Since I'm in the Philippines, I have never used PayPal, although I know that internationally that's what most people recommend for safe transactions. Since I'm here in the Philippines, when I buy anything pre-loved, I always do meetups. So the shops I've bought pre-loved bags from, they actually all have physical stores here in the Philippines. So it wasn't a problem for me to actually go to the store and check them myself. So I checked them at the store and I authenticate first from my own research. And when I come home, I never forget to have the item authenticated by a third party. Tip number 7, before purchasing any item, always ask for all the pictures from the seller. Always tell the seller to disclose all possible scuffs, marks, dents, everything, all the possible flaws of the bag. So when it comes to you and it wasn't stated in your conversation that there was a certain flaw, and when it arrived there was a flaw, then you can file a claim and demand for a refund. Tip number 8 when buying pre-loved is to always look for the best deal. Don't rush. That's one thing that I really learned here. Patience is a virtue, and if you're patient, you're going to get the item that you really want. Never settle. Have your own standard. For example, when I buy pre-loved, my standard is always that it has to come complete with a box, with a dust bag, with authenticity card, and with a hologram sticker. That's like my non-negotiable. So if the bag that I want is available but it doesn't come with a card, or it doesn't come with a box or something like that, I just don't get it, no matter how good the price is. So it's best to always wait. It might take time before the item that you really want comes into the market, but trust me, patience is a virtue, and if you wait for the exact item that you want, then you're not going to regret it. Finally, this is an extra tip that I have, which I just discovered recently actually, and it is to be your own private detective. So I personally recently, well not really recently, maybe like a year ago, I started following sellers of fake bags on Instagram. So I found this really helpful because now I know what to look for in a fake bag. I have found that the bags that these fake Instagram sellers sell, they're very up to date. Like, you would be surprised because, for example, Chanel releases their items for this season in about maybe like a month or 2 months. This shop already has those designs that went on the runway for that season. So it's like, how, right? Like, it's impossible how fast these fake sellers just get their production done. So it's very important that you don't only know what a real thing looks like, but you know what a fake bag looks like. Because if you know both, then the more knowledge you have, the easier it is for you to tell. So that's why for me, I follow these really class A, like very class A. You can barely tell they're fake. I follow these sellers on Instagram so I can see how fast their technology is on duping these fakes, because they're really good. If you're exposed to what a fake bag looks like, it'll be easier for you to tell and to look for the certain items that they just didn't get right. So that's it for my tips on how to buy pre-loved items. If you just follow all these tips, then I guarantee you that you will not be scammed into buying counterfeit items. Just remember to always do your research and be diligent whenever shopping for anything pre-loved. Now, for those who stayed for an update regarding what happened to my mom and her fake Chanel bag, well, long story short, but she did get her money back, thank God. But it took a while because the seller originally, well, until now, she denied that the bag was fake, which is just like, oh my gosh, like, why did you, because it's so obviously fake, but she still denied it. So when my mom confronted her about it, she denied that it was fake, and she originally didn't want to return the money, but eventually I think my mom was just really being so annoying. So I feel like the seller just gave in because my mom was really adamant about getting her money back. So she didn't fight the seller, she was actually very nice about it. But I think since she kept on bugging the seller to get her money back, then the seller just eventually agreed to return the money. Since she paid with her credit card, what the seller did was they just canceled the transaction as a whole. So my mom had to they had to apply a form from the bank. So my mom got the form and gave it to the seller, which the seller ended up filling out, and they submitted it with the requirements needed to the bank. So now the bank has officially canceled the transaction. So it's like the transaction didn't happen at all. So it took a while, but yes, my mom finally had the transaction canceled, and we will just never be shopping from that store anymore. So that was it for today's video. I hope you guys learned a thing or two. If you have any comments or suggestions on videos that I can do, then just comment them down below. If you like this video, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye!